Amparo. Museo Amparo is located in the heart of Puebla, in the historic center. It was founded in 1991 by Manuel Espinosa Iglesias, who was a Mexican important banker and businessman, in commemoration of his death body.
The museum possesses a collection of over 1,700 pieces of pre-Hispanic art, which is considered as the largest private collection here in Mexico. It holds more than 1,300 pieces of pastoral, modern, and contemporary art too. Its purpose is to spread the culture through all forms: plastic arts, music, film, literature, and dance.
Museo Amparo is divided into three floors. The first floor is designated for the pre-Hispanic exposure. The second floor is for the bilingual collection and for another collections, temporary collections. For example, the William English collection. The third floor is a cafeteria and the third gallery.
In the prehistoric room, we can find the pre-Columbian zone. The pre-Columbian collection gathered pieces of art from different zones of Mexico, such as Mezcala, Tlaltilco, Tlatlaya, and Tenochtitlan. The collection has representations of different manufacturing techniques, such as ceramic, casting, and carving, with different materials like gold, bones, and stone.
The museum is highly interactive, as we can see here, where we see a scene of the ancient Mexico, where they elaborate the ancient tapetes. The museum also comes with different screens that show different pictures of the ancient Mexico, and also has projectors that show, for example, the image of the planet Earth and the localization of the ancient civilization.
Museo Amparo is an enclosure containing from Mexican cultural events, starting from the pre-Hispanic past to reach the most recent expressions and imaginary witnesses. Sensibilities, expressions, styles, and visual languages in Mexico and through the centuries. The collection is articulated from two main areas: pre-Hispanic art like ceramics, sculpture, carved objects, textiles, and the colonial art.
As we said before, on the first floor, we can find the Mesoamerican destination. As we can see, this part of Mexico is the Mesoamerican part. Si quiere puede pasar, bueno, no.
This is the room number 2. This is the religious world, and like today, religion in Mesoamerica was really important. They had several gods which they worshipped in their temples and offered them sacrifices. The gods are opposed. If there is a female god, there must be a male god. If there is a dry god, there must be a wet god.
When it was related to agriculture, pleasure, and fecundity, they tried to make the sculpture figures just like they thought the body would look like without clothes.
In this, the room number 4, we can find a lot of things about society and their traditions, but mostly about how they did agriculture.
Ancient Mexican cultures developed in the Mesoamerican zone. Mesoamerican zone was the fertile part, because in the north there was the infertile part of Mexico. The diet here in this part was really varied. It was frequently consumed the corn, but also dogs and some fruits.
It was thought that in Mesoamerica, the northern groups were really Pacific, but that's not true. Like the Toltecs and the Mexicas, every group in Mesoamerica fought during war. War was really important for them. And they made groups called the Jaguars or the Eagles that were specialized just for going to war. Also, the ones that were captured during war were used as a human sacrifice.
The writing systems are very important to communicate, and every culture had their own writing system. Like, for example, the Sumerians were the first ones who invented in the whole world their own writing system. And on the other hand, the Olmecas were the first ones in America who invented the writing.
That was an important topic for the ancient Mexican cultures. Also, we can see that they believe in the afterlife. And for example, we have some pieces that talks about that when they passed away, they have to sacrifice sometimes a dog to be their companions in the other world. We also have different items that they buried along their people. We can see the different cultures have different ways to bury their dead. For example, we have in here an example of Masatiro, which was a really big structure when they buried their relatives in a vertical way, so they can bury a lot of people also that were mostly related.
I hope you have enjoyed the first floor in the Mesoamerican part. Let's go to the second floor. Here we can find the material collection.
The Museo Amparo wasn't always a museum. First, it was a hospital. Then it became a college. Then it was like a house where husbands could leave here their wives so they could remain virtue. Then it was a nursing home, and finally it became the museum that you can visit today. Here we are in the kitchen. As you can observe, there are a lot of things like the table and some of the plates and the stove where Manuel, Vincent, and his wife could eat. So some of these furniture were actually used by them.
Art collection Queens was in 1871. Part of the building that was the home of Vicente Espinosa Bandini, grandfather of Manuel Espinosa Iglesias, founder of Foundation Amparo as well as Museo Amparo.
Pero ahora voy a decir.
In 1991, Manuel was father of Ángeles Espinosa Iglesias, a great humanitarian and collector who acquired the majority of the works in the galleries.
In this room, we can find one of the most important religious worship in the area. It was the Virgin Guadalupe, the most important icon for being painting in that era.
one who is called vestigios, and which has the characteristic to question the values of history by taking different vestiges of different constructions and by making evident their mutability, leaving open to the possibility of questioning and replacing the current paradigms of the silent object that gives a foothold to unsuspected conjectures of ruins as a container of cultural traces located in the desolate landscape of a hypothetical civilization. Occasionally, their opacity makes us perceive them as fictitious sites rather than a result of historical processes where complexity exerts our imagination.